Okay, so we'll start with a brief introduction. Maybe tell me your name and how many times you've been incarcerated.
Yeah, so I'm Kenny. I've been incarcerated multiple times, basically from the age of 20 to 30 was kind of like a revolving door. It'd be hard to say like exactly how many times, but I would say it probably about 10, whether they one long one and a lot of short ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and when you were incarcerated, were you in active addiction at any point?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Did you find there was any stigma towards you being an addict while you were inside?
Uh, Only when I did federal time, some of the people were more a group I was hanging out with, they were kind of a dead set against it. But generally, everybody in there was, a former addict or was as a result of addiction, right? Like,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. And in any of your times in, were there any rehabilitation programs?
Yeah, they had anger management. What else? This is a little bit back ago. Um, Life skills courses. I mean, there was some good came of them and stuff. The problem being in prison is you're in a class and to be vulnerable in front of other inmates was a bit challenging. Um, so yeah, they were helpful. They
Yeah.
were helpful. Yeah, kind of
Like,
made you feel human a bit.
right.
You know.
Was there anything related, like specifically to helping with addiction?
Yeah, they had substance abuse awareness, and I don't recall the course, like, because it was some time ago. But there was, like about choices. I think there was even like this is going back, right? So I don't, I think it was substance abuse awareness, something like that.
Okay.
And no, there were some good key points. I remember taking the class and like paying attention, and there were some good points.
Yeah.
But also like my mindset in prison was not a place where, it's not a place to get well. You kind of get dried out, but you're still in like a mentality of your surroundings to that revolves around addiction and the lifestyle. So, like you're here, you are going to a class, but like you're surrounded by an environment that doesn't support healthy living, right? Like it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Criminals and whatever, right? Everybody, yeah.
Yeah, so that can make it a bit of a challenge,
It
I
makes it
guess.
challenging, yes.
Um, was it easy to get access to drugs and use?
When I was in the federal system, absolutely, there was everything there. Fortunately enough, I had a group of friends. This is my experience. Like, I had a group of friends where um, they were like dead against that using. But there was everything in there, and it was all like done by bank transfers or trading cigarettes, whatever. But yeah, I didn't. When I did my federal time, like I did a lengthy. I was in there for about almost 4 years, and I didn't use in the federal system. In the provincial system, it was a lot harder. I barely seen drugs in the provincial system because it's more of like a maximum, not a lot of open visits and stuff. It was all, but there was actually the one provincial place. So yeah, like the federal system, absolutely, there was. It was all, yeah, there was everything.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's interesting. So it varied by like government level and system how easy the access was.
Yeah, basically, like the access to drugs was like basically the institution you were in, and whether open. They all came through open visits. Um, some prison guards were involved, which at a different level, which I don't know anything about. Well, I do, but yeah, it was basically the particular institution, whether it was maximum, medium security, so open visits, and then that's how usually drugs would come in, right? So
Right.
yeah.
Okay. And did you find was there any difference on how the guards viewed you as an addict? Like, did they care about any of the rehabilitation, or was it just strictly punishment for what you did to get in?
I found in the provincial system, meaning, so the provincial system is anything 2 years less a day. The guards more treated you like cattle. Like it was, they didn't really associate with you. They just locked you up, opened your door. Like they, very minimum. In the federal system, they were more, the guards were also your caseworkers. So it was more personal. So they were more like human. Like they were, they weren't really frowned at or negatively looked at kind of thing. So, yeah, if that makes
Yeah,
any
it
sense.
does.
Yeah, like the federal system, I find is a better, helpful institution than the provincial system, 100%.
Okay.
And you have more like federal system. You have more access to, you wore your like your own street clothes. You had your own TV brought in, like whatever. You had your own cell eventually. So you went to classes. So the federal system was good in the sense like they would pay you, they would give you an institution pay, and then you would go to like work classes or school. So they had those things. So those things were helpful. Like I upgraded in my school in the federal system. The provincial system I didn't really do much. You're just kind of, you do work, but the federal system they paid you. So it was like an incentive, and it was minimum pay, but it covered, like at that time they were still smoking in the prison. It would cover your cigarettes and munchies and whatnot. So
Okay.
yeah.
And I guess you said you've been in and out several times over that decade.
Yeah.
After some of your releases, like, did you keep using and get rearrested for the same types of crimes?
Yes, like it's funny. So like the majority of people, like for me and most people, like you get arrested, you're in prison, and there's your life pulled out from under you. You get healthy there, you get off drugs, and then you're telling yourself you don't never want to go back. I'm finished doing it, and I meant it, like, and everything in me. I just did not want to. Didn't want to go back to prison. Wanted a new life. The problem was you get out and I don't know, the mentality, like I had a feeling of being reduced, right? And I felt the stigma of the community more getting out, right? And being locked, being pulled away from society, trying to get back into society, having it in the back of your mind that now you have a record and you just got out of prison and trying to build a life. It was challenging, like very challenging. And I'd find myself saying, no, I don't want to do it again. And like, you get out of prison, you're so riddled with fear and anxiety. That's the only coping mechanism I knew. So I would go back to it. Like I'm just going to do one. And then one turns into two turns into three, and so on. So yeah.
Right. And do you think that could change that feeling of kind of worry and fear when you get out, if there were different types of programs available to you as an addict inside?
Yeah, like I think well, one, for the federal system, like when I got out of the federal system, I went to a halfway house, so that was a nice transition, getting out from locked up, being under lock and key, to like a facility where you can go work, but you have to come home at night, report to somebody. So that was helpful. I think they should, I don't know what it's like now, but I think, knowing now, like if 12-step meetings were available around and stuff like that, and I had maybe a taste of that. I honestly, looking back, I don't recall I don't recall if they were even available, whether I even attended or not. So, what was the question again? Sorry, I kind of.
Well, no, that answered it.
Yeah.
If you could have been better prepared with more help,
With-
like something like 12-step program.
Yeah, like more, yeah, but 12-step program, or like, I think like you know, like other people coming and sharing their experience with you and what they did. And because you really literally don't have an avenue and a route what to take when you get out of prison. Like that's where like so many I find today, like people recommit and they just go back to what they know, right? And the options are, you know, were limited, right? So I think if there was like programs in place and whatnot, so it would be more help. Like you need help, right? Get when you get out. So you know, if you don't have like strong family support or whatnot, yeah, you're it's challenging because your mental space changes. You know, it really your mental headspace really changes, right? It really kind of reduces you of your esteem. So yeah.
Right. Okay, well, that is pretty much our time, Kenny. Thanks so much.
Mm-hmm.
And just, for this, is there, you've got a good bit of clean time under you right now, right?
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Yeah. No, it feels great. Like I think you know for myself, like once I uh, after my federal likely federal system, like I uh, through them, I think it was where I started to hear about 12-step meetings, but I basically kind of committed to stop doing crime. Like I sold drugs as a result of my addiction. That was the majority of my charges through my life. It was all revolved around drugs. So uh, then I got a job after that. Like I went through a halfway house, then got a job, and I started getting a taste of life and stuff. But now, yeah, no, like my life is completely like once I found 12-step rooms and stuff like that, like it just because you know, I needed other drug addicts that are now sober to hear how they're living their life, to you know find what they're doing and tap into that energy and stuff. So it's yeah, no, and I failed multiple times. A lot of it had to do with like my first few attempts, like I said, my mindset from prisons. Like I was like a caged animal getting out. I couldn't socialize, and I wanted to socialize with people, and I just could not.
Hmm.
And it took time, so it took a few relapses along the way, multiple relapses, till finally buying in fully now today to the 12-step program. And it's I don't find a struggle at all whether to stay sober. So yeah.
That's great to hear. All right. Thank you so much, Kenny.
Yeah, no worries.